Okay, give me a countdown. Copied that, thank you. Hi.
How's it going?
Good there. Yeah, you can stay in the car.
Woo.
Welcome everyone to Wild Safari Live here from the Djuma and Arathusa Game Reserves in the beautiful Sabi Sands in South Africa. We're coming to you live from the African bush, and this is a magical thing. My name's Hayden Turner.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Peter Pretorius, and I brought something for all of us, but I'm going to give it to Hayden. Please don't take this the wrong way, ladies and gentlemen. But this is for the porcupine quill to go along for the afternoon. This is my favorite flower. And you know, if I have to give it to anyone, I'll obviously give it to my two ladies at home, my wife and Sydney, that I had such a special talk with yesterday. But this is a red star zinnia, and it's probably my favorite flower here. Even though it originally comes from Argentina, long story, we can talk about that later. But I thought you might want to
stick it with the porcupine quill, mate,
with the porcupine quill, because it is the weekend building up. It's Big Cat Week. It's the last 3 drives we've got left. So you know, it's
very
exciting times.
Really exciting times. We've got great news. This morning we got onto some lioness. We had a really lovely encounter with them. I sat with them for about 2.5 hours, and we watched them hunt unsuccessfully, but it was beautiful to see the behaviour, and we talked through that. That was a great time. So I'm going to go over and check those guys out and see if they're still there, and then if they're flat, we'll probably just move on, and Pete, you're going to probably pick up on them later.
Yes, Hayden's a very nice guy. He said, Peter, why don't you get over there later as well and have a look? So I'm going to have a look later on. Probably Styx female, so beautiful girls.
Yeah.
Tradition, I mean, the Styx pride way back when, you know, the ones that aren't around anymore, they're always very nice looking cats.
Very handsome, very beautiful.
Scott's been busy today, found some tracks.
Yeah.
Karula maybe. I still believe Kunyuma is here somewhere for the last 2 nights. So yeah. And also it is the weekend, guys, so there's quite a few more vehicles around, not only the lodges. Djuma's still not very busy this weekend, but a few of the private landowners are around. Luckily some of them are friends, so we'll see, maybe there's a bit of friend benefits or friend helps this afternoon.
Yeah.
That could sound different, but so we are going to look around. There are a few more vehicles. That's very exciting for us, because in the end, a big part of this are the other guys around as well, the other people doing what we're doing, maybe in a slightly different way, but eyes on the ground, and that relates or translates to animals. But I'm going to leave you.
Okay, mate.
Both of us can talk quite a bit, so if we're here together, we could just sit here and suddenly be like, okay guys, sorry, the game drive's almost over. So
it's time on the ground. We've got VM on camera over here, we've got Brian on camera here, who's well and fit and healthy again, which is brilliant news. No malaria to be on Brian, that's brilliant. So we'll catch up with you later, mate. Good luck, and have a look at those lions. We'll go and check them out and communicate with you. Absolutely. Fun, F-U-N. See you, mate. Cheers, Pete.
Man can even spell.
What we're going to do is...
Cheers,
mate. It's about 39 degrees Celsius at the moment, about 105 Fahrenheit. So that doesn't equate to cat activity, but I have to tell you this, those 2 lioness that we saw this morning were really hungry. They had very empty bellies, and they had a go at those Nyala bulls, but I think through a little bit of lack of experience... Seen much yet, he said. Through their lack of experience, one of the lioness just actually sort of came out of the undergrowth or the vegetation a little bit early. So it was good. It was good to watch, and we really had a good look at the behaviour. It was beautiful to see them stalking and so on and waiting for their moment. So they're on a very delicate little piece of land down there, but Pete's got some contacts with the landowners down there, so hopefully we're going to, if they do go on there, we're going to be able to have a look at them. If they came onto Djuma, well, happy days. So we'll just see how we get on there. There's lots of other things on. Scott, who is one of the other guys who will be taking over from Pete and I, as well as Mark, who arrived this afternoon, which is absolutely fantastic to see him, and he's on the land at the moment, and that's just brilliant. And I know everyone knows Mark very well, but what an incredibly experienced experienced man he is, and between Mark and Scott, they're going to be also looking out for us for any cats. So we've got lots of eyes on the ground, exactly what Pete just said. Hot. We're going to head straight over there, see what we can find, see if they're still there, get an eyeball on them, and then maybe move around and have a little look again. We did find leopard tracks as well. So it's a great afternoon. We've got a good feeling, and let's see how we get on. So 3 nights left for us on Big Cat Week, and pretty exciting stuff. We've got a good feeling about the cat situation. We're really excited about it. We're going to plough all our time and energy into the cats, but of course there's much more to the African bush than just cats. There's loads of other species as well that if those weren't there, those cats probably wouldn't be there, or not probably, they wouldn't be there. The cats are the apex predators on the top of that food chain, and there's a very, very complex network of organisms underneath those cats that support them. So we have to look at all of that, and we'll find really interesting things along the way. Of course, we're going to concentrate on cats. We're going to be constantly looking for tracks or spoor. I've used that word many a time before, and I just explain it every sort of second or third time, because if you've just joined us, it's a word that is used a lot in guiding and a lot in the bush in Africa. It basically means tracks and signs of animals. It's an Afrikaans word, S-P-O-O-R, pronounced spoor, and a really important word that we, it doesn't have to be just tracks or footprints. It can be hair, it can be feces, dung, anything, you know. It's just all about looking at where the animals have been. So we'll head on down and see what we can find here. I think they'll probably be lying flat still, but it was a beautiful thing to see this morning. I really enjoyed sitting with them. I think 99% of people wanted to stay, which we asked for on Twitter and email, which is a great little reminder for me to tell you or enlighten you that if you do want to get a question to us or a comment, you can email us at WildEarth.tv, email us at questions@wildearth.tv, or tweet us at #SafariLive, and we'll get to as many of them as we possibly can. I say it every time, but I really want you to, any teachers or educators, teaching assistants, heads of school, anything that is involved, anyone I mean, is involved with just passing some impala that I always say we don't give a cursory glance to, but I do want to just get to these line, excuse me, and want to get to these line and just get an eyeball on them and make sure we know where they are. We sent Scott over, who's been absolutely fantastic today. Scott's been like a dog with a bone, as I said this morning. Just watching our aerial there. And he's been out for most of the day looking for tracks and signs of on the reserves. So he's done an exceptional job today, and really hats off to him. Scott is, as I said, the co-host with Mark. Pete and I, a bit of these low hanging. So he's been fantastic, and Mark, as you know, is like a bloodhound when it comes to tracking, and he's probably going to get his eyes and his skills and knowledge. So it feels fantastic today. It feels like we're absolutely maxed out on the people that we've got on the ground, as well as Pete said, all the other guides on the other reserves who are really trying to help and assist us in any way, shape.
Ready when you are? Well, another good afternoon. Things have changed literally in the last 5 minutes, the weather-wise. And I'm sure I spoke to you about the weather, but it's quite hot, it's quite clammy, muggy, Any of those words that describes what it feels like before it could rain. Let me show you actually. Let's stop here. Look in that direction. That's sort of looking, that whole sky there really. It's looking southwest. Prediction wise it wasn't predicted, but you know me. I work on the weather rock system. For those of you that maybe this is your first drive, there's going to be lots of things to talk about this afternoon to understand. But firstly, this is really 100% live. Literally nothing's planned, other than obviously that we're going to go out and do a game drive and look for things that's there. You know, we have an idea of what to look for. But anything can happen at any minute. We always say this, but it really is true. And we weren't too concerned about the weather, but now it's looking like maybe something. But then we'll deal with that then. There's nothing we're going to do about it. Quite muggy. It's nice when we drive, so we're going to drive a little bit just to cool down. And as I said, we do plan a little bit in terms of where we're going to go. Like this afternoon, I do want to check some of the waterholes. Scott got some tracks of Karula potentially, so that's very exciting to know about. Those lions from this morning, AJ's heading there. We're going to go look for them again later on. But as always, and this I really can tell you from a lot of experience, a game drive really is not something that you plan. I mean, you plan around it. You plan around the concept, and you have a few ideas what you want to go look at, and obviously things that you saw the morning or the day before you go follow up. But in the end, it is something that unfolds. It's the only way you can experience it is to go along on the ride and see what happens and experience it. And there's a great beauty in that process of unfolding. You might not see anything for the next half an hour, so if there's nothing, guys, please ask me questions. I can talk for half an hour, but it's much more fun if it's an interactive process. So if you haven't asked questions before and you maybe want to, very simple. You email in to questions@wildearth.tv. It gets to Will and Alex and the guys in control. Or you tweet #Safari Live. That's actually the easiest. It's right there for you to see on the screen, those of you watching on TV. And pop us a question. What does an elephant weigh? You know, how high can an ostrich fly? Any of those kind of questions that you feel like asking. Or also just something in general. What's Africa like? Or I had a question once from a guest, and it's not just me, a friend of mine has had the same question over time, asking, who does your washing? That was the most pertinent question for the guest to ask us, which is really sweet. They were actually really nice guests, so I did tell this in good humor. So in case you were wondering who does our washing, we've got one of the staff here at Juma. They use the facilities. Her name is Zodwa. She's great, and she makes sure that we all have clean clothes. So, you know, those kind of questions, maybe something you're curious about, and don't be shy. I'm sure all the teachers that so nicely enjoy or let their classes come on game drive, they will tell you there's no such thing really as a stupid question. All questions are good. There's a lizard track. In fact, let's try this, guys. Sorry, you know me, it's Friday afternoon, you know, it's almost the weekend, and even though in the bush we normally work on long cycles, this time around H and myself, we're here for 6 weeks, Will as well. Some of the other guys are doing 3 months with a break in between. But even though you live out and it's a day-to-day sort of the same thing, you do try and sort of pretend, you know, when it's weekend. Look at this little guy. It's a little bit like birds. You see, he just darts off. He was there, I promise. It was a steenbok. Let's just see, normally steenbok are in pairs. And that was the male. I don't see the female. He's just lying down in the shade. I thought we didn't see him. So let's quickly, for one or two of you, and this is really just to kill a bit of time and to maybe have a laugh, to set us in the sort of the mood for the weekend. Let's see who can ask the stupidest question, or for lack of a more politically, or for a better politically correct word, the silliest question. I'll think of one a little bit. I thought BM was asking something. BM was asking if he minds, or if I would mind if he takes a nap. Wasn't that BM? Yeah. See, that's a silly question. Yeah. Did you bring up? Oh, brilliant. He's got his pillow as well. Perfect. Hey guys, one thing that I do promise you, I might be sort of shooting the proverbial breeze with you, but I love doing I'm thinking in Afrikaans at the moment, so I need to swap my sentence around. There's few things I love more than what I'm doing right now. Driving in the bush in Africa, beautiful area around us, potential of leopard, lion, elephant, all of it. Looking for tracks is also exciting because I know that there's a few things out there. I know we're going to see them over the course of the next 3 drives. I know there's going to be magic. So I'm in a very happy place. So I might be a little bit light-hearted, but what I mean to say is don't worry. The business end of what I do is always present, no matter what I'm joking about. It is there. It's like breathing for me. So it's lovely to have you along for the ride. That beautiful sky. Let me just turn for you a little bit here. It's a lovely area called Sandy Patch. To speak? Test, test, test. Sorry guys, for those of you obviously with us still, we're just doing a quick test on audio in ad break at the moment. So check, check, check. 1, 2. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? 1, 2. We're doing a sound check. Guys, we're going to look at these Impala again just now. Alright, thanks Will. Glad you can hear me. It's a very handy part of the game. Scene of Karula. So we will be back here towards sunset. Ah, look at that leopard. Tortoise. You see him, Bian? There he goes. See, we're halfway there. We've got the small 5 that correlates to the big 5 we're looking for. Nice healthy leopard tortoise. I'm going to sit here a little bit just because I do want to explain to everyone that this is something we could look at, and also a very important part of the game drive. I mean, I was really just feeling sort of, you know, break the ice just now, especially for those of you maybe for the first time on game drive. Going on safari, going on a game drive is not something serious. I mean, it's something fun, something to enjoy. And however, I do want to just explain this. All right. Guys, welcome back. For those of you that just missed the last few minutes, we just stopped here. This is a beautiful area called Sandy Patch. I'm just going to show you a little bit. It's a nice view. Also, you can see that front that's moving in, the clouds in the background. Look at that. Big clouds pulling in. And I was saying that when we came around the bend and I saw this herd of impala, the first thing that went through my mind was that these impala, and I don't only say this from potentially what could happen, I know this from the past. This is one of the places that Karula the leopard loves to hunt in. So these impala will play potentially a role in us finding the leopard later on, because if she is hunting, which she will most likely be doing, then this would be a place to check. It's also a nice place to sit. We've got a beautiful view. I like impala. There's little lambs here that will be running around. And to stop every now and again is very important. Not only to take in the sights and the sounds, in other words, just to slow yourself down and remember that you are actually just here to have fun. And to listen and to look. But listening is very important. When you're driving, you can so easily miss things. Then when you stop and you enjoy the view a bit, then you might hear impala alarm calling in the distance, or monkeys. You can hear monkeys on a good clear day far away, kilometer and a half, you can hear monkeys calling. You know, just little things that might say, hey, let me go look around that area. So it's a very key, important part of finding wildlife. Of the tracking itself, is to not only think of tracks. People tend to think tracking means you're looking for a track on the sand and you follow it. That is a tiny bit. It's a bit like communication. You know, people think you talk when you're communicating. There's so much of our communication happens in body language and in understanding rather than it does in just the actual words in English, which is a good thing since it's a second language for me. And we must just keep that in mind. There's so many more aspects to it. We are going to be tracking hard the next few days. I want to do my best, the same as everyone else. Scott has been putting in a lot of time in the sun. HT, the whole team, the other lodges, we're talking to them. We want to make sure, as we always do, every single day that we're out here, that we have the best opportunity possible to show you wildlife, and maybe a little bit biased, to show you big cat weeks, because we are in big cat week. It would sort of make sense to look for big cats. And of course, being in Sabi Sands here at Djuma Game Reserve, the ultimate big cat for me would be leopard. Doesn't mean I don't like lion. I mean, it doesn't mean because I love pizza I don't eat hamburgers. I can still like all of it. And that goes for impala, and it goes for great views, and it goes for sort of talking a bit of nonsense while you're driving around looking for things. All those things, it's part of the experience. That's what's so brilliant about it. It's 3 hours of just beautiful wildlife experience. And yes, Will? I think that's an excellent idea. Will is just letting us know that HT is ready for you. And you're going to go over to him and have a look at some of those things we're talking about. So enjoy it. We're going to look around a bit more. We'll see you as the afternoon progresses.
Hi folks, we lost you a little bit there. I went down into a bit of a dip, but what I was saying was, I can't really remember. Anyway, we've come right across to the other side of the reserve, and I just wanted to get an eyeball on these two lioness again to see if they were still here. I thought they would be. It's been really hot today, 39 degrees, 105 Fahrenheit, so these cats are flat at the moment. But we're going to monitor them for the whole afternoon so we can really track what they do. And if they go for a hunt in the later hours when it cools down, we're going to be right here with you. You're going to be right here with us. We're going to be right here watching them. Have a look at them. They're pretty flat over here at the moment. Underneath that tree there, you can just see there's one just to the right of that tree trunk, and then there's another one just to the right of that little thicket. They're very, very hot and flat. So they haven't moved much at all. They were just about maybe 10 meters, about 30 feet to the left where I left them this morning. And obviously as the sun goes overhead, the shadows change and they move into a little bit more of a comfortable position just to utilize the shade as much as they possibly can. Now what we saw them doing this morning, just to give everyone a little bit of the backstory, if you weren't with us this morning, this is what happened. We came around the corner and just over beyond those lines where you can see now, Brian just pulls back a little bit and widens that shot. You see that green grassy area through there? That's where they were hunting, okay? They didn't have a lot of cover. We can probably go back in tight now again. I just wanted to show you that area. And what was happening to the right of the female that's at the right of your screen, there's a slightly sort of open wooded area, but there's a little bit of cover. It's not fantastic for lion. They were really relying on the shrubs as opposed to grass because this is quite a heavily grazed area here, and they were really struggling. But they did have an opportunity, but I think just through, I don't know, experience and, you know, two lioness hunting together, statistics have shown that it's around 30% success rate, so it's not high. They really have to put a massive effort into to have success. But you know what? You never know when you're in that 30% range that they do have a successful hunt, and we might be with them right tonight when that happens. You just never know. That's what's the great thing about Safari Live. You're here in the moment. It's no script. Whatever happens in the African bush, you are right here with us watching it live, and that is really exciting for you and for me and for everyone involved in this wonderful project. Now, what happened was they were sitting down. I thought they were just going to go flat over there, but then there was this one of the females was really looking intently across at the sort of shrubby vegetation, and I think she saw a little tail flick of a nyala. Nyala is an antelope that we've seen many times on the reserve, and there's quite high densities of nyala here. They prefer this sort of wooded vegetation. They're a beautiful looking antelope, but it was 4 bulls, a little bachelor group, and they were just moving through this wooded area to the right of the screen, and one of the females locked onto them, and then we talked through, which was a really wonderful thing. It felt really nice to talk through the behaviour this morning, and I really enjoyed myself this morning with you. And what we did was just followed them and watched them. We didn't move much, but we watched them with the camera and binoculars, and they were in such a fantastic position. But then one of the females went too early, and the Nyala scooted off. So what has to happen is that mathematical equation of the lion's acceleration has to exceed the distance between the two animals and the Nyala's acceleration rate. So it's just a bit of an equation that has to occur. When it's right, boy, it works like a treat. But when it's not right, they will stop very, very quickly and realise that they haven't had a successful attempt. So I think what we're going to do is leave them be, and we're going to monitor them, and we will just monitor them all afternoon. My guess is they're going to become active around sort of 6 o'clock, which is about 1.5 hours time, and we will make sure that we've got eyes on these animals for you, and really keep a keen eye for Big Cat Week. Really important that we keep our eyes on all cats that we've got eyeballs on. So, I think we're going to move off and start to just drive around the property and have a look for some other things. And we'll just sort of have a little cruise down through this area. Signal can be a little bit tricky in some parts, so bear with me if I go down into a dip. We'll make sure we keep our eyes on these guys, and I think we should get going. So I'm just heading up a road now called Cheetah Cut Line, and a beautiful road that we might try and make our way up to Buffelshoek Dam, see what's up there, see if we can get a little look up there. It just depends on what our signal's like, but it looks strong at the moment. There's a bit of a front coming in over there. We could get a little bit of weather activity later. We're crossing our fingers and hoping that it's on our way. If it does, as I always tell you, we may have to rush back to control and get under cover, because the technology in these vehicles is really quite high tech. It's all in the back of the vehicle, all our transformers and our amplifiers, all the equipment in there, plus camera. We've got to be really, really careful that we keep it dry. And we can handle a little sprinkle, but if it comes down, we have to get under cover. These two vehicles are part of the team, Jigga and Zanelli, the two vehicles that we drive every single day, and we tuck up in bed every single night. If we didn't have them, we wouldn't be doing this. So it's really important to look after your equipment and make sure that everything is running perfectly. Okay, we're just going to pass over to Pete and see what's happening. He might be looking for Karula, and he might have picked up some tracks, so we'll be back with you.
Okay, welcome back this side. As you can see, we've taken a smaller road, so to speak. This is not even a road, it's a little animal footpath. This is where Scott had that one track of a leopard earlier. Okay, guys, let me just explain to you a little bit. Maybe you've just joined us. Well, just so you guys know, I think my commas were playing up there. Basically, I've just taken this little track. It's like a footpath made mainly by hippos. It's a nice big track. There's about 2 or 3 of them. Sorry, that branch got me behind the head. Coming through, and Scott he literally saw 2 tracks, 2 paw prints. And trying to find the leopard here because I know that she's here somewhere. I mean, in this general area. Scott had 2 tracks from Karula, that female leopard. But there's a lot of these kind of areas. When you look to the right here, you'll see it's just a beautiful thicket. Lots of sort of pushed over trees. The elephants are quite active here, so there's lots of great hiding places for a leopard, but more specifically for a leopard that might have small cubs. Now, Karula would be, you know, it would probably make the highlights of my 6 weeks if I find her, especially if I can find her with little cubs, because this will be her 5th litter, and I've been very fortunate to have known 3 of those 4 litters, the last one being on this occasion with 2 boys. So if she did have another cub or cubs, presumably she'll have 2, but to see them would be, you know, I'll be very selfish. I'll be very happy, you know. I'll be very happy that you guys see it as well, but you know, just on the personal level, I'll be jumping up and down for a couple of days, just because she's a very special leopard to me. I've spent so much time with her and experienced so many great emotions with her, you know, joy and happiness and excitement and fear even a few times with, you know, big things around, and I just love to find her. So we are going to make an effort to find her, not only for today but also for the next 2 days. And to do that, you just have to cover the ground. You have to look for the tracks, spend the time, you know, apply all the skill you have, all the knowledge you have, and then hopefully, you know, if luck plays a role. What was that? Sorry, he won't bite anyone again. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend time here and just check this area down towards the waterhole later on. And if we do it enough, and with a little bit of luck, we're going to find her. It bit. A little insect that bit me there. I don't know what it was. Those lions that HT was sitting with, they old hunting ground, both for Safari, which was her mother, Karula. It's a log. Lots of those out here. Logs that look like leopards. too many tracks here. Wildebeest, little mongoose, warthog track back there, some impala. Probably about 99% of tracks that you find on the road, obviously, because you can see it's very difficult to see tracks in the grass. You can find a few if you know where the animal's moving and you can sort of get an idea what they were doing, you know. So if you're following a leopard that's been hunting, you'll see that from the tracks and the behavior. If you follow a leopard that's patrolling his area, so maybe like Mvula, the big male that's around here, if he's patrolling his boundaries, you know, he's typical. He will often use the same roads, the same places to mark, because it's a scent mark that he's leaving as well. Right, Viam? Alright, you're looking for something. So, lots of things to consider, but 99% of the time you're going to find the tracks on the road, and you're going to use that to start giving an idea. Okay, this is what the leopard was doing. You try and get an idea of the behavior, because the behavior will predict to an extent where you can expect to find it, and then you work it from there. And obviously talking to other game drive vehicles, the other guys out on safari, that's a key element as well in finding these guys. More impalas. Stop next to them here. A couple of youngsters. Most of these females have had their young ones. There might be one or two more still to land, but pretty much all of them looks like they've had the babies now. Guys, I really want to try and keep covering some ground. It's these impala, we'll look at some impala later maybe. It's always nice to watch them, they're playing around. These guys are quite relaxed. And again, we're just putting them in the back of our mind where they are. It's a big herd. Wow, here's the rest of them. This might actually be that big herd that we see on quarantine quite often, because I didn't see them there earlier. Lots of young ones, big group. That's why we didn't see a lot of lambs further back with those adults, because they're all here in a creche together. Quite a few curious glances our way as well. We always think we're looking at wildlife, but a lot of the time the wildlife's looking at us. That's just beautiful markings. I really do like the detail in the markings on so many animals. I always mention the black gun impalas, all the black markings, the 3 lines on the back, tip of the ears. Do like that. Cheers, guys. Shout if you see a leopard. It's of course very important for them to do that, because they need to tell the other impalas there's danger around. I'll just give you a little bit of a sort of a catch up again. Nice warthog tracks there. They've been playing in the mud. We're going to see lots of this kind of thing. There's lots of little puddles of water everywhere now. But we're covering ground. We saw another big herd of impala. Again, that's good to note also for later on. And we are now heading sort of roundabout way. We're going Impala Plains around to Twin Dams, maybe Buffelshoek Dam I want to go check out as well. It's been quite a while since I've been up there. We'll see this now.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, folks, we've just come up to Buffelshoek Dam, which we like to stop at. I really do love this dam. We've seen some incredible activity up here, but I always like to just have a look at the hippo. Sometimes there's only about 2 or 3 here. At the moment, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hippo here. It's quite impressive, and they're really close to us, so I thought we'd just stop and have a little bit of a look at them. There's a couple of real youngsters here, really beautiful, and the mother will give birth to those and their calf and keep them away from the herd, you know, maybe from, I don't know, 2 weeks to about 6 weeks old, and she will bring them then into the herd, but still protect them quite fiercely. Just have a look, if you can just pan across, Brian, to the right a little bit, right. Now that individual there, it's just put his head underwater. That's the bull, I think. Pretty sure he's got a very pronounced head and very pronounced features on his head. When he comes up, we'll try and point him out again. But they're all just chilling here on this really hot day, and very social, beautiful time together in the water. They're so wonderful. A couple of nights ago we saw them coming out to graze, where they'll do that at night. They'll come out in the sort of cooler hours and make their way to some nice grazing grounds, and we saw a mother and probably a 1.5-year-old following her through the vegetation on the way home, driving back from the reserve to our camp. Quite fantastic to see them out of the water, and don't be and shape fool you, that's for sure, because they can get up to quite hefty speeds on those legs. Really sort of they do, or trot to take care of hippo when you're walking. There's a real youngster there, that one on the right. Yeah, that's him, bro. Lovely little guy there. Months old. So grazing through and then starting to wean them. There's another mother coming over on the right here, Brian, with her offspring. Just a little bit further up, about 3 o'clock from where you are now. Little one swimming over. There we go. Tiny little guy just went underwater. So they come from dam to dam. They come from Viatella Dam over to here and so on, the females. The bulls will stick around here and look after their patch. It really does depend on where they are. I've seen Rivers, another dominant bull very close by. They'll come and have a few skirmishes, but they'll normally try and keep that to a minimum, unless you start to get a bull that is getting into losing his prime sort of ability to protect that area, and then he'll be challenged by another younger, stronger male. But beautiful to see. Very social. They have really close contact with each other as well. They often remind me of, I don't know, pigs do the same, in the sense they lay all over each other, and it's a really nice thing. It's quite a social, interactive, bonding thing where they'll lean on each other, put their heads on each other's backs, and really nice to watch. So in this region, you've got normally herds. When I say herds or pods, there's all these different collective nouns for hippos, but you know, let's just call it a herd for today, and you'll be looking at, you know, anywhere between sort of 10-15 animals, sometimes less, but when you can have concentrations of massive amounts in areas that can support the grazing, and it's all about the food availability. If there's enough food, it will support a very big population of hippopotamus. In Uganda, but in the Kazinga Channel between Lake Albert and Lake George, I think I might have mentioned it the other night, there's extraordinary populations of hippopotamus. Little tiny guy there. Quite a long gestation period too, 8 months. And then they'll give birth to their calf. They isolate themselves, and they get off. You know, they'll move away from the herd. That's a really important thing, that they're not in any of the vicinity of these crazy sort of bulls that are going to have a bit of a chomp around, or any other individuals that, for that matter, that could affect their offspring or hurt their offspring. And when the concentrations are higher, they'll be really careful of that. And sometimes there's been records of them giving birth to their calves on land, and there's also been records of them giving birth to their calves in the water. So it just depends on what the mother chooses to do. They're great looking creatures, aren't they? Really beautiful. Nice big teeth display here. And those weapons that they have in their mouth are their biggest defense. Upper canines razor sharp, with the lower canines honing themselves down on each other constantly, super sharp. And then there's two incisors that protrude as well, that are very tusk-like, and they're their forms of defense, not just within battles between themselves, their own species, but also against predators. And the predators, well, it's pretty hard. There's nothing really, they haven't got a lot to worry about on land, adults, you know, unless it's a very big concentration of lion or something like that. But it'd have to be they'd have to be really pushed to take on a hippo. They will get their calves, definitely. They're not as protected as adults. That's the thing that they keep their eyes on, making sure that their calves aren't predated upon by a lion. Would definitely take a hippo. Just behind that one, that I think that's the bull just behind. Just by the look of his head shape there, you can see he's got much more pronounced eyes. His nostrils and his head shape is very different to the one behind him. I think it's a really tricky one to tell when they're this far underwater. But I think that's the bull. If you have a look just behind that one, just up a little bit, Brian, there's a youngster just leaning on the mother's back there. They're fantastic creatures. They also have to watch out for crocodiles. There's no crocodiles in this dam, but where there are, crocs will definitely take a baby hippo, but they won't go anywhere near an adult. And the mothers will fiercely protect them from crocs. Crocs will be fended or pushed away by adults without fear. And I have seen some amazing things when you'll see hippos hauled out in the cooler times of the day, or maybe in the winter when the temperature's a little bit lower and the water's very cold, and they want to just get them bask in a little bit of sunshine, which doesn't happen a lot, but they'll be lying right next to crocodiles, and both the crocodiles and the hippos will just tolerate each other's presence. Okay guys, we're going to move on. I'm just going to go across to Pete, and I think Pete's got something quite special, one of my favourites, and we'll see you just now.
Guys, welcome back this side from those big hippos over to, sorry, there's a spider web here. This is going to be happening more and more. There, you can see it. A bit thin maybe. Look at this. This we can see, no doubts about that. It's the biggest land mammal in the world. Loxodonta africana, the African elephant. And this bull we actually saw, I was just looking at a picture, I could show you this now, but this bull we saw the other day, 2 afternoons ago, when we were looking for the hyena. He was there and we sat with him, and the hyena came out later on, and we had actually a beautiful view at one stage where we could see that young hyena in Lapandula. We could see her through the trunk, between the trunk and the legs of the elephant. That's when Jason was on the drive for camera. So we do know this bull. I do like this bull. I'm going to have to tell you about him again just now. And if he's anything like the other day, he's a great elephant to spend time with because he's so nice and chilled. Very relaxed guy. Relaxed and curious a little bit as well, if I remember correctly. I'm going to go turn around quickly, Liam. I just want to use this gradient. I'm going to go turn around, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Well, a bit more than 2 seconds. We're going to turn around slowly because there's an elephant just behind us. But you know what I mean. Okay, well, from the hippos back to the Ellie, and we are at this elephant. We just arrived here a minute or 2 ago, guys, for you that just joined. And this is an elephant. It's not just an elephant, it's an elephant that we recognize because I didn't stop very smart there. This is the same bull we saw 2 days ago at the hyena den. When we were looking for the hyena, there was no hyena to begin with. We saw the Ellie, spent some time with him, and he came right up to the vehicle. And I'll show you after we've looked at him how we can recognize him. But I liked him a lot then, and I like him again already because he seems to be, firstly, very comfortable, very chilled, relaxed, but also he was a little bit curious. And I have a feeling he might come have a little look at us just now again. Not bothered by us, super relaxed, and just the kind of elephant that I love to spend time with. We can recognize him from a few things. I'll point them out just now, but I think we've got a question. Let's have a question. Oh, great, guys. He's going to come right up here. Look at that. I'm going to take another shot like this. Oh, sorry, guys. Hey, Douglas. Nice to have you on the vehicle with us. Oh, this is great. Douglas is asking, do elephants have any natural predators? Douglas, not really. There we are. That tusk has got a little notch in it. Now he's turned. Doesn't matter. He's got small notches on this ear as well. That notch there, but he's got a sort of a half V notch in the left ear that's easy to recognize. Hey, big guy. He's awesome. Wonder what he's thinking. You know what? Let me just get out of the way. That's better. Now I can talk to you, and you can see the elephant without my head in the way. You can see he's had a mud bath earlier. If you look on his back, that area there, And still lots of wet mud there, and also in the cracks in the folds of the skin. He's going to walk away now, but don't worry, we're going to stay with him. In the folds of the skin, he gets mud sort of caught in there as well. So he'll have a nice mud bath, and then there you can see the notch in his left ear when he turns. Hey, big guy. I'm hoping he might be in a bit of a playful mood. Sometimes when you get them as this age, he's sort of in his 20s somewhere, probably early mid-20s. You can get them in a mood where they sort of get a little bit playful, and they sort of give you a bit of attitude, and you can get a bit of interaction from them. But he's just feeding along as well. This area is burned not long ago. That's why it's so green. There's no old dead material, no old dead grass from last season. It's all new grass. And that means lots of little things for him to eat. He's actually pulling out, it's not grass that he's eating mainly, he's pulling out a creeper. Other plants as well, but he was eating a lot of these creepers just now that he's picking up there. And maybe we'll follow him all the way down to those wildebeest there to the back. Is the herd of wildebeest. And again, for those of you that have been joining us quite a bit the last few weeks, it's that herd with VM who's on this vehicle, Brian on the other vehicle, those wildebeest calves that we saw born. We experienced the whole live birth. Hey, big guy. Look at that trunk, how he's feeling around delicately for the good food. A great sense of smell, obviously. Great sense of touch. That's actually quite an interesting plant that he's using. It's got a few different names. Elandsthorn is the name that I like. It's got many common names, but it makes a little bit of like a soapy. You can work it up into a lather almost. You can wash your hands with it. I'll show you at some stage. It's not easy to recognize it, but those had a few flowers on, so you could see what it was. There you can see the notch nice now. Right in the ear, there's the notch, and then that little thingy at the top. But that notch is the best one. You can recognize him from, and also the fact that he's a left-handed elephant or a left-tusked elephant. Look at that groove on his left tusk. That shows you that when he's breaking twigs and things, most of the time he will use that tusk. And that's quite interesting with elephant, is that they're slightly better coordinated on one side compared to the other one, like humans. Most of us right to the right hand, but some of us, we've got a good left hand. You get a few people that are good with both hands, like Rafael Nadal, for instance. He can use both hands either way, but not that common. Just going to go along with this guy, enjoying his afternoon feed. So it's clear that he doesn't mind us being here. I mean, if he minded us, he would have left already. He can go anywhere. He's moving alongside us, we're moving alongside him. I like this elephant. I like him a lot, actually. It's funny how you meet different animals over time, or different elephants specifically, and one elephant to the next can differ so much in its personality and how comfortable it is or not with a vehicle. If I was around here for the next couple of months or next couple of years, this would be one of the bulls that I hope sticks around, because just the whole way that he is, the way he moves. He's not only not bothered by us, but he's also a little bit curious. He's looking every now and again, he's listening. You can see sometimes that he's picking up my voice. And if you spend a lot of time with this guy, then you'll get to know him, and as importantly, he'll get to know you. They had an amazing elephant in this area. Probably the most interesting elephant I've ever known, a bull called Wonky. It's a bit older, he was in his mid-30s already. And Wonky had a funny back leg, his right back leg. So that leg on Wonky was sort of twisted a little bit, and he could walk on it, but at a funny angle. And he also had a funny tusk, so we could recognize him. He was great. With Wonky, I would sometimes sit like this, talk, and about 10-15 minutes later, he'd be standing right here next to the car, which was always amazing for me. I took one of the most amazing photographs I've ever taken of my wife, sitting right in front of him on the Giga, the other vehicle. Yes, Will, sorry, you've got something for me there? Wow. One loses touch a little bit with dates and times out here, and Will's just letting us know that there's quite a bit of chat going on Twitter. That today is, and that's in crazy how fast time flies. It's 1 year today since Nelson Mandela Madiba has passed away. Now I don't need to say who he is. He's one of the most known, greatest, nicest people of all time. I know we used to follow his birthday quite a lot because my grandmother and him are the same age. My grandmother is still alive, hopefully for another year, which was the platform that he did what many of us cannot even imagine, I think. So the chat in Twitter is that we want to call him Madiba. I like that. It's a great name. So we will call him Madiba, and hopefully, I really hope for you guys. Yeah, a big welcome as well. Mark Weiner arrived this afternoon. I know many of you are going to be very happy to know he's back. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Mark Weiner will be doing some presenting as well with Scott when we go and HT myself leave. Great guy, knows this area, and if you see this elephant more, Mark will tell you more about him, but he shall be known as Madiba. I'm just going to turn around a little bit and wait for him to come closer to us now. Just interact slightly differently from what we've been doing. See what he does with that. It's a good place. We'll sit here a bit. It's funny that to think of the passing of someone. Every day we've got, give or take, a few. We've got about 7 billion people, so that happens every day. Maybe one of you, some of you have had someone recently pass away. I'm sure some of you have recently had new arrivals as well. I had a baby boy 10 weeks ago today, actually, if I do the math right. It was a Thursday. All these things that happen every day around us. Very good point, thank you. It is Friday already. My mind was far away there for a second. Sitting here with Madiba the elephant. Guys, now this is what I wanted to see what happens, because we've now moved around him, so we've behaved differently. We were next to him earlier. Now we've turned and we're sitting now like this, face onto him, and that's a different way of communicating with him. And I was wanting to see if he's going to do this. Just come up and have a look at us. You see right in front here, he's got the whole place to go and feed in. In fact, when we stopped here, he was actually heading in the other direction. So we've just given him an opportunity to come and have a look at us face on, so to speak. And that's something you can do with elephants like this guy. Someone that is a little bit interested. He also is wondering what we're doing. He's like, what's that guy? Who's he talking to? There's not even a lot of guests on the back. You can't see everyone else that's sitting with us. Guys, you just missed the last few seconds, but don't worry, he's going to probably look at us more. We are going to spend time with this great elephant, but we basically, as I was saying, just minutes ago, that we wanted to turn and just come around to a different angle, and that's very important with elephant. How you position yourself, especially the vehicle, has a big role to play on how they're going to react to you, because they react to the body of this, if you want. Obviously, big animal, and this is the closest thing in terms of size to them. In fact, next to elephants, the vehicles are actually, even the Giga or Zanelli, these small vehicles are still bigger than the next biggest animal, which would be white rhino. So they also perceive that size, and if you behave in certain ways, you can sometimes get certain sort of behavior from them. And he might do it again, he might come and look at us again, but he was right up in the front here. Now he's just turning around eating some more food again. But yeah, I know I've said it, but I like this elephant. Something curious about him, or he's curious about us. And big guy. They're big. Such awesome animals. I love elephants. I really do. Especially when you get this, you get this real sense of interaction. I mean, he wasn't just doing this by chance or randomly or didn't know what he was doing. He had a very specific idea in mind as he walked over, as he fed in the front, turned around, he decided to come back past here again. He's walked around us now and he's just behind us. He's walked around again that side. So, there's a real sense of awareness and thinking and intelligence that you get with elephants. And that's, if I ever have to spend an extensive period of time with any animal, and guys, me, I love leopard. I really do. Just for me, they're just like magic. Leopard, I can just watch them all the time. But elephants, phenomenal. You can get to understand them so well. Let's get that question. Will's got a question for us there from. Let's hear from who it is. I'm going to reposition a bit. That's an interesting question. And Australia, firstly, lovely to have you on the vehicle. And Australia is all the way out of Washington, DC, that is, not state. And I would love to answer that question properly for you. Ooh, that's interesting. Very interesting. We saw some guinea fowl just now. Australia will get to you just now. He's digging out something as well. Look at what he's doing. See, he's using his foot there like a shovel, really, and that always impresses me how easily they do that. For me to dig a hole with a shovel that big, it will take me a few minutes, and he just foot back, foot forward. Look at that. He's probably going to dig out. You'll see it looks like a big potato normally that they come out with. We saw it the other day with one of the females. Sorry, I'm interrupting myself on multiple levels here. While we were sitting with this Ellie, some guinea fowl came walking past into the bush, and now they're alarm calling. That's a good thing for us to keep in mind, and if it gets worse, if they escalate that alarm call, we'll go have a look at what it is. Australia was just asking about these tattoos on my arm, and Australia, I will gladly answer that for you, but in a bit. First, I'm going to stick with this elephant. There he's got it. It looked like a sweet potato almost. Amazing how, well, firstly, how easy they make it all look. Considering that this guy weighs, it's always difficult to gauge exactly, 4 or 5 tons maybe, 10,000 pounds. Hey, big guy. They just move so effortlessly, and using the foot to kick that branch off, with the trunk to pull a twig closer, or the foot to dig it out. They just have this great sense of poise about them. Tell you what we're going to do. I've got a plan hatching here. We're going to come back to this Ellie again shortly. Unfortunately, we can't spend the whole afternoon with him. I could easily just stay with him until sunset, but I'm going to come back to him just now. But I just want to go see what these guinea fowl are going on about, because I can see one up in the termite mound, so it's got a good view. Maybe it's seeing something. Where's that road? It's a bit far. We'll have to go in here. Australia, while we're driving in there, Australia's asking what these marks on my arm are from. Tattoos are a very funny thing, because they can be deeply personal, as these are. But one thing I've learned over the years, I had a great experience yesterday afternoon in it once again, is that sharing with people is actually quite cool. And this is my wife's name, and we can have a look at it later on. For now I want to get to these guinea fowl in case there's a leopard. This is my wife's name in Morse code. My daughter's name Sydney, and my baby boy Ragnar Ngala, which goes here and it goes all the way up to my arm on that side. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff up on my arm that leads into, which is a bit of a longer explanation. And this one is an old one, and this one is actually very pertinent to what we're doing right now. I'm going to show you that quickly. It's the infinity sign, and it means this moment in Morse code. So effectively, this infinite moment, which is something I've been writing about and thinking about and spending time on in my life for a long time. And I'll be very honest with you, coming to do this is the best space I could ever have ended up in to learn about the moment, because being live and doing what we're doing now is a very, very good stomping ground or battleground to learn about that. Here's the guinea fowl. We're going to see what it's about. There goes the guinea fowl off the termite mound. It had a view. Let's see if we can find something. If not, we'll go back to the Ellie. Here's a nice view of the guinea fowl actually. Ah, come on. I think that guinea fowl speaks English. Every time I talk about it, it runs away. But there he goes in the grass. Now this is a good indication for us that the calling going on was probably to do with other guinea fowl. Maybe we are in mating season now, so just probably calling to tell other guinea fowl it's around or something like that. Or maybe something small like a snake or something, you know, not threatening, but more just to announce, listen, there's a threat here, and it moves on again. If there was a leopard around, that guinea fowl wouldn't have moved because of us. It would not have cared about us. It would have kept a very close look on the leopard, and it would have kept alarm calling. So that solves that short mystery that we had. Liam, can I turn in the back?
Yeah, that will. Thank you.
So yes, this moment. This moment. As while we're at it, I'm quickly going to go past. You can just watch out, there's a couple of thorns on that. Good. You can just go past Treehouse Dam. It's not that far and it's worth a check. And then we'll come back to the elephant. I'm going to spend some more time with him, maybe another 10 minutes or so. Maybe one more little greeting with him. And then I think we should start heading over to those lions. See what they get up to. Let's have a quick look at the waterhole. Also now getting into that later part of the afternoon, you know, it's cooling down a bit. These clouds that have moved in actually helped even more with that. The afternoon was very hot earlier, so we were expecting that most likely those lions would be, you know, probably flat cats until close to sunset. But things change a little bit, temperature changes, animals get a bit more active. The zebras you just saw now, impalas further back where that elephant was. And those lions, you know, they could be, there's the guinea fowl again. They could be on the hunt. They looked like they wanted to hunt this morning, so I might change my mind just now and not go back to the heli, but we'll decide that when we're at the waterhole and when we've got everyone back in the vehicle, we'll make a group decision. Oh, sorry Liam, a bit of a bumpier bump than I thought. Alright. Guys, welcome back. I'm going to talk to you shortly. I just want to get up to the wall so we can have a nice view, have a look around a little bit, and then I'll tell you the plan. The plan has just changed. Somewhere in the back of my mind. The elephant that we were sitting with just now looks like he drank here earlier. I saw his tracks just cross the road further back. I love that when you're sort of looking towards the sun. Big waterholes, you get these incredible skies on the water. And this is Treehouse Dam. Way back in the day they had a little treehouse, in fact up in that tree, like a viewing platform where you could come and lie down and well, see what comes to drink. I know for those of you that just missed the last few minutes, that guinea fowl ended up, as soon as we got closer, it ran away, so that showed that it wasn't concerned about anything major. If there was a leopard around, the guinea fowl would have not cared about us, it would have paid attention to the leopard. So maybe just something smaller, an eagle that flew over that we didn't see, or a snake. And I know I was saying I'm going to go back to the elephant, but I think I've just changed my mind. Just looking at the time, it's now reached almost an hour and a half, almost halfway into the game drive. The sun is getting a little bit cooler, the clouds have moved in, and those lions, even though the feeling is that they might move only towards sunset, it's not impossible that they move earlier, also because other animals are getting active. So you have to sort of consider all these things that might play a role in activity, and I want to get closer to that side, because this morning when HT was sitting with them, I actually had quite a cool experience this morning. Let me share that with you in a quick summary. This guinea fowl calling again. I got woken up by my wife calling me on Skype and saying, "Oh, you must look, HT is got lions, they're busy hunting." And I actually watched HT with the lions and the nyala on that hunt via the Skype connection to my wife in Namibia on her computer screen, which there was something quite interesting in that for me. So I know that those lions are on the hunt, we know they're hungry, we know they're going to try it, and I want to get to that area in case that starts to happen. But let's just sit another few seconds, enjoy the view. VM can show you there towards the clouds and the trees, it's quite pretty. I just want to look around with the binos a bit. And I just want to have a look around with the binos and listen. Listen is really important. I spoke about it quite a few times today. It's important to stop and listen every so often in the bush, because you will find many things in that process. Look and listen. Well, just to give you a quick roundup, maybe this is your first drive, maybe you've only heard about this in the last day or so. We are, as always, excited to be in the bush because anything can happen at any minute. And HT is looking around at the moment. You're going to jump on the vehicle with him very shortly. We're doing the same. I'm going to check twin dams as well, and then I'm going to start getting up towards where those lions were. Scott very kindly went out there earlier in the vehicle just to keep an eye on them. So they are still lying down, but we do want to try and get there when they get active. So that's the plan. Lions, Karula, the tracks were around. and well spotted VM. You know, VM is a very good tracker as well. Those guinea fowl that keep calling and keep distracting me while I want to talk to you. Here they're coming down for a drink. Let's have a quick look at them. Helmeted guinea fowl, great little birds, sort of great characters of Africa, if you want to. Most of the time you see them in big flocks. I've seen groups of guinea fowl here, sure, 50, 60, 70 in a flock, but this is in summer now, not the whole summer, but during this rainy season, they're breeding, so you find them in pairs like this, male and female together. Let's have a quick look at that one. Look at the head, blue head, and there we go, running past the back of the vehicle. That's the radio antenna that you could see. And enjoy the drive with HT. He's looking around, we're looking around, but keep looking around because we're going to see something. I know it. I know it this afternoon. Let's go. Time to find game.
So folks, I've just come from one side of the reserve right over to the other. And we're looking for leopard, always. Sorry guys, I'm sounding a little bit taken back there, but I just found some tracks here. And we always look out the side of the vehicle for tracks. And that looks like leopard tracks on top of, well, it's a bit hard to tell. Here, 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 here. Okay, so there's leopard. There's leopard tracks there. We're going to have a look around this area. I'm not sure if they're the same ones that Scott picked up earlier. It is really hard. It gets better in the afternoon. As the afternoon sun goes down, you get an oblique angle of light through the track, and it becomes very, very obvious that the track is there. When the sun's coming from directly above your head and you've got tyre tracks as well as different animal tracks on top, you really got to spend a lot of time looking. It's very difficult. The light's getting good for us. The temperature's cooling down as well, which is always a huge benefit to us looking for predators. And we're just going to have a around this area this afternoon. We've got a little bit of intelligence from other people, and also Scott had a look this morning. It's a bit of a word that Karula or Kanuma could be in this area. I need a leopard fix. We all need a leopard fix. I'm going to do my utmost to just immerse ourselves in this location this afternoon. We've got really good eyes on lines over there, so I think we just keep going. You never know what's around the next corner. It's going to be a cracking sunset. Absolutely amazing. Definitely going to go back there. We're going to go around these blocks, go down the roads, keep our eyes well open. I've seen Karula up here before, seen her hunting up here before. Control, do you copy? Got no comms. All I heard was, have you got my comms? Yeah, nothing, mate. My side. there's a good chance that if she has gone onto another property, then maybe she comes back in here to hunt. We will definitely make sure that we get our eyes peeled today for Karula. That would be just gold to find Karula, but any leopard for that matter would be magnificent. Very, very slow through here because at the afternoon, the shadows become bigger, and we have to adjust our sight. As primates, as I always say, we've got a really good sense of sight. As soon as there's a bit of contrast, look a little bit harder, and also that that leopard pattern or that leopard coat, that camouflage, is perfectly designed for this time of the afternoon. Dappled light throughout this vegetation, and for all we know, she could be lost. Ja, nee.
Sorry, VM, what's signal like again? Guys, welcome back. Having a bit of signal tricks there, but we should be good. I'm not going to talk too much just until we get to good signal. Sorry, VM was just commenting on signal there and what we could expect to do further along. We're going to take Mamba Road and see where that takes us. It might be a little bit crackling in the signal, but don't worry, it will get better. We have a plan, as always. Part of my plan, Scott had a track from one male lion that he said was heading in this area or this direction from sort of Chelapan area, and I'm hoping that maybe that lion signal should be getting better now. It's just going through a few dips there, so we're just breaking up a little bit maybe, but just saying that we have a plan. As always, one has to have a plan, but basically I want to look around this area a little bit. Scott, that did some really good tracking for us this morning, said he had a track what looked like one male lion coming from the west, past Pangolin track area in Chelapan, and heading in this general direction, and he didn't find any tracks coming out on Twin Dams Road, which is the road we are now. Now, of course, it's very possible to miss tracks. Even the best tracker in the world can easily miss tracks. If the lion decided to cross the road somewhere where it's hard or on a patch of grass, you just don't see it. But at the same time, someone has tracked a lot, and Scott has done a lot of it, same as most of us, many of us here. You get a good feel for things, you get a good feel of what the animal is doing. And I'm hoping that lion might be heading up towards where we are sort of heading at the moment. And maybe we can find food or, just something that you have to consider the dynamics of the other animals in the area, or at least potentially in the area as well. I'm going to check Chelapan quickly. A bit of water there and a bit of shade, you never know. And then we're going to slowly just wind our way up towards the light I actually showed you at the beginning of the drive. Maybe you maybe missed some of the explanations around it. After the rains, there's lots of these little pans. There's a Chelapan just up here, but look on the right hand side here as well, just as we're driving past. There's a bit of water there. It's not necessarily the greatest drinking water because it's quite stagnant and there's lots of algae in it and mud because buffalo and warthogs and things come and wallow in it. But there is a lot of water around. There's certainly enough water for one or two animals moving through to get their water there. Scott calling, standing by. Copy that, thank you Scott. We are on our way. Scott's just saying that looks like there might be a bit of movement there. I just want to very quickly look at Chilapan. We're going to head straight up in that direction. Chilapan down there. Okay. What we're hoping is going to happen this afternoon. Well, we know it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of if it happens this afternoon. Let's put it that way around. Those two lionesses this morning were hunting, and we almost had a kill. It was very, very close. They were stalking some nyala. But HG was also saying, they really are in the right mood or in the right frame of mind for hunting. Now, all predators obviously always hunt. I mean, we saw in the beginning of Big Cat Week an amazing experience with the 5 Birmingham males. So it's a bit windy, guys. We're driving into the wind, so I'll speak up a bit. But the 5 Birmingham males who hunted 3 buffalo in 3 nights. So predators are always opportunistic. First and foremost, you have to be opportunistic. But at the same time, if you haven't killed for a day or 2 or 3 days, the lions can go a week, 10 days, 2 weeks even without eating. But typically, once they've finished, a big carcass and they've had a good meal for 2 or 3 days, they'll go for 2 days, 3 days quite comfortably before the hunt becomes a sort of a more urgent matter for them. And these guys look like they really are ready to go hunt. And that's what we're hoping is going to happen. So, see, what happens. See what happens. Just thinking about signal. We might up a little bit.
Okay, we're just driving, mate. We've got nothing, but if you need to, of course. So we really haven't seen anything. Just stand by for a second, guys. I just got someone on the Game Drive channel calling me. HT copy. Just on Sandy Patch Road, mate. Just heading along the Viatella access road, crossing the corner of Sandy Patch. Manualetti. Okay, mate, I'll come back to you if you can stand by. Thanks, mate. Really, it's about maximising. I was just waiting to... One of the guys was just asking where we came from, where we saw... spoor this morning and what corner and things like that. It's really I think we've got a little bug on our lens by the looks of things. I can just see in the... Has he gone? Yeah, he's gone. No, he's still there. He's still there, is he? Yeah, we've got a bug on the lens there. Let me just see if I can get him off. See him there. Got him? Is he off? Check. Yeah, we got him. This is live, folks. This is live. Bugs on the lens. It does happen. So just trying to crisscross this area to see if there's any tracks coming out. You just never know what's around that next corner. I keep saying it, but it's the truth, and you just don't know when you're going to find tracks coming across the road, and it gives us a little bit of a hint, a potential location of a leopard. Okay guys, which way are you going? Absolutely magnificent afternoon here, folks. It's so beautiful. The sunshine is just on this landscape. It's glistening at the moment. It's not wet, but it's just glistening for some reason. It looks fantastic. It's going to be a great sunset. The temperature's dropping beautifully. I've got a good feeling in my bones today, folks. I know Pete's heading towards those lion that I had the encounter with this morning. So hopefully you get some good luck with that. It's the anticipation that I really love. You know, the anticipation of not knowing if you're going to find something, and you might be looking for leopard, but you could turn around the corner and there's an incredible size elephant or giraffe or anything there. You just don't know. Remembering, as I always say, it doesn't have to be all the big stuff. It can be the small things as well that are really important. But at the moment, I've got my my sights out for leopard. Definitely a little bit of a breeze picking up. I want that breeze to disappear for the next hour and 17 minutes because that breeze is rain. It's a good time to ask questions now, folks, if you have any. It's a really good time as we're driving along just to talk about questions, or ask them and answer them and have a little bit of interaction through social media. So if you've got any, please send them to WildEarth, questions@wildearth.tv, or tweet us at #SafariLive.
Okay, we powered up again. Alright, well, we've got amazing sunlight firstly at the moment. It's broken out behind the clouds. We're just around the corner from where these lions should be roughly. I don't know exactly where they are. But driving along Cheetah Cut Line as well, I've been looking at what's around. There's some kudu further back, some impalas just here. Let me show you the impala quickly. Let's get an idea of what is in the area. There's a baby impala. Incredible light now. I mean, you get this sometimes when the light does break through. On. Standing by. I'm just arriving here now. Thank you very much, Scott. Most
No worries,
appreciated.
buddy. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
I hope the timing's right, but I think it is.
Cool. Bye-bye. Just myself at the moment, Lalapanzi. We're just pulling in. I'll give you an update, but yeah, flat cat. Copy that. It's Peter. So Peter actually is op die firebreak. But guys, just to explain where we are. Oh, it's just going to be awesome. This is one of the main roads going to some of the lodges. That's why you can see these poles. It's part of the power lines. So I've just got two different radios talking to me at the same time. Guys, look at this. What more can you ask for? Two beautiful lions. Lionesses, if you want to be specific. And they're still sleepy, but it has been cooling down a little bit. Sun is getting lower, the wind's picking up, which is also a good thing for animals when they hunt, because it gives them a little bit of cover, both in the movement of the bush around them as well as the sound. Look at that eye, just giving us a lazy look. Now lions can sleep easily 20 hours a day, and obviously from that statistic, most of the time you see lions, they would be sleeping. So you've got to try and catch them or spend time with them if possible, either early morning, sunrise time, or alternatively, like we are doing now, late afternoon, early evening. And probably with lions even more so than with leopard. Late afternoon, early evening is really a great time to spend with them. Lions can quite easily in the mornings settle down into it, but this time of the day, if all goes well, they'll start getting busy, they start getting up. They're beautiful to watch because they go into a few routines, typically stretching a little bit, yawning, maybe a little bit of play. They're both adult females, so not too much play, but just the sort of the normal things that gets them going before they go out. And we should get a couple of big stretches. And then I'm hoping, it's a bit tricky what the wind is doing. The wind is sort of east, it's moving between southeast and northeast almost. It's not very constant. But these guys should move into the wind if they go hunting, so hopefully they'll stay in this area that we can follow them. Now already just lying with the feet up like that and the eyes sort of half open. Let me go a little bit forward here. Showing that she's not fast asleep anymore. She's still sleeping. We're still relaxing really. Oh, look at that. Look at those eyes. Sure, I love their eyes. Giving us a lazy glance. Fantastic really to be sitting with big cats. It is Big Cat Week, and you know, we've been saying this, but you never know if you're going to find these animals, guys. I've worked in this specific area for a number of years, and you can sometimes go long periods of time without necessarily seeing lions. They might just be in a different area that you can't get to. They might see leopard, you might see different things, but it really does come and go a lot what you see. There's always something to be seen. Never ever ever have I done a game drive, and I've done many thousands of them. I've never done a game drive where it wasn't great, where you didn't see something special. But at the same time, I'll be honest, some of the most memorable and most amazing game drives I've experienced have had to do with big animals. Elephant, lion, leopard. There is just an energy about these things when they start moving that's very catchy. So I think we're going to have some of that this afternoon. I'd stick around for it if I was you. It's just as she's dozing off again. Sorry, that's a little snack. I'm realizing I'm quite hungry suddenly. And since we might have a bit of action to follow at some stage before the end of drive, I think it's a good opportunity just to get something in me. This wind really is good. And we'll explain it again just now. But it does give them great camouflage, much more so than if it's not windy. Both visually as well as sound. Well, brilliant. Well, while these lions are sleeping, HT's got something else that he spotted. So enjoy it. We'll see you back here in a bit.
So we just turned up at the hyena den, and I looked over at the den. We drove down and Brian and I looked and said, no one home, no one home. And then we just had a little bit of a look over here. And this is what we saw. That female, the mother of that little cub and Dapandula, she keeps looking over her shoulder. Every few seconds she puts her head over her shoulder. We had about 3 or 4 adults here last night, and Dapandula, the little cub, who is a very, very cool little creature, and quite bold, because he's the offspring of her as well, which we think she's the alpha female of this clan, and we have been watching him. He's quite a precocious little guy, and he really does push the others around even at his age. We mentioned it last night, but it's a great thing to remember that it's only the females are the ones that hold the dominancy or the higher rank in the hyena clan. But the males of her that are her offspring will be above those females, so they're the only other males that have a higher ranking than females. So any male that's born to her will have a higher ranking than the females, but all other males not born to the alpha female will be subordinate. She keeps looking over her shoulder there. I'm not sure why. The wind is blowing a little bit heavy at the moment. Quite windy coming from our back, so you will hear a little bit on the microphones as well. And she's just put her paw over her nose. So we're sitting with this hyena now, and I suppose if we've come from Pete with lions to me with hyena, both of these species. There's a fantastic documentary by Derek and Beverly Joubert called Eternal Enemies that many people have probably seen, and there's definitely a love-hate relationship there. They will try and get as much as they can from a lion kill, but there's definitely parts of Africa where the numbers of spotted hyena are so dense that they have no problems with taking on lions in their greater numbers. One of the things I really wanted to debunk through this time in Africa was this myth about these these, and they are also really, really accomplished hunters. They will hunt only when they can't get a free meal, but they are definitely capable of hunting with great proficiency and getting as much food as they possibly need. But you know, the easier way is to try and wait for scavenging situations to occur. But they can consume parts of the carcass that a lot of the other animals can't. They can consume nearly all the bones. Some of the larger bones they might struggle with a little bit. They stop at the horns, and they'll eat teeth, which we talked about last night, and can digest those in about 24 to 48 hours, which is pretty incredible. And their feces, or their dung, is that like bright white, really, really high in calcium because of all the bones that they do consume. But they really can. They have an incredible power in their jaws, and they can crush bones that you wouldn't believe that they could do. Just got a question coming through. Laura on Twitter. Hello Laura, great to have you with us. Fantastic to have you on board today with us here in this beautiful place. Laura's question is an interesting one. It's other than prey and predator, what animals avoid each other? Well, there's normally, okay, you've obviously got that that intrinsic, or that deep down, are you food? If you're food, I'm going to probably try and eat you, and the prey animals definitely will be very well aware of that. But you know, I've seen elephants move away very, very quickly from animals that probably don't have a huge impact on them. But I've seen elephants be pushed away by rhino, quite rambunctious rhinoceros that I've seen, but then again, other way round as well. They're no threat to each other on a food level, really, unless it was a serious drought situation, but that's highly unlikely. But I've seen that occur. So rhino and elephant do give themselves a bit of a wide berth. Everyone sort of moves away from elephant if need be, and you get a lot of the youngsters, particularly the teenagers, that are throwing their weight around water points and things like that, and they've got the backing of their family group behind them, and they might just give a little charge to even think something like a guinea fowl or an Egyptian goose. You see elephants having a little charge on. So there's all these different relationships that happen, but in that normally most things get on in a pretty sort of a in harmony. You do find loads of different prey species feeding together for obvious reasons. More sets of eyes on the ground, the better. Impala feeding right beside wildebeest, beside zebra, beside kudu, etc., etc. So yeah, I'd say there's a couple of little funny things that do occur. I mean, I saw the other night as the vultures were landing to finish off a lion kill after the lions had sort of gone down and pretty much had their fill. Before the lions came in, there was a lilac-breasted roller, which is a beautiful, stunning bird, a common resident here in Sabi Sands, chasing off the vultures. Fork-tailed drongo, another little very, very common bird, but a really fun bird to watch as well, chasing off vultures. So you'll get these associations. You get quite bold little characters like those birds that will definitely give it a bit of a whirl. So there's loads of different animals, Laura, that may take on each other just to get out of their space, but generally things get on. So she's lying flat at the moment. I don't know where the little cub is. He's probably asleep in the den. Excuse me, I'll just have a quick drink. Definitely keeping her eye over her shoulder there. And we do regularly visit this den just to give you a bit of a backstory there as well, important to know that we are very respectful, and our ethics behind coming down to this den quite often. We make sure that we would gauge on whether we're having an impact. The animals are still here, the female's still here. She's going to give birth to her cubs very, very soon. She will do it in that den down there. It could be between 1 and 4, normally about 2 hours after they're born. There will be a dominancy display between them. One cub will be more dominant than the other. This is really, really common and quite well documented that in a den there will be a lot of pressure. Sometimes there will be only one cub survive, but they will start sort of having these disagreements, for want of a better word, or dominancy displays down in that burrow, where one animal will be more dominant over the other one. When they do get a little bit older and they do have a bit of a scrap down there in that burrow, it's very difficult for the mother to sort it out or get down there because the burrow is very, very narrow. It's normally a modified burrow from an aardvark or warthog or something like that they might have dug out. So it's difficult for that to happen, and it can result in a fatality. It just depends. But it's a pretty high stress level. There's a lot of vocalizations, there's a lot of behavior that happens. To unravel that behavior as you see it is a really, really tricky one with hyena. It's very, very dynamic, and you have to really have a handle on the individuals to know what's going on. So we're just getting to know these individuals. There's a lot of transient adults that are coming through here, which the female is chasing off a couple of the males. But the little youngster in Dapandula also has been chasing off a couple of those males as well, because he knows he's got his mum as backing, and he's only about this big, so it's quite interesting to watch. But we might move on, and we might cross over to Pete and see what he's doing with those lines. I just thought you'd like to see one of the lions' incredible adversaries, the hyena, and doing a little bit probably the same what the lions are doing at the moment, but who knows. Let's cross over to Pete and see what he's up to. We'll see you just now.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the hyena and the stories. And things are starting to move along just a little bit. The one lioness is still sleeping, but this one has started doing a bit of yawning, and it looks like they might be starting their day. It's a few typical things that they do, and you've arrived here just at the perfect time. But yawning, stretching, grooming, all parts of getting ready to start getting active, and this is where the fun could start. But even just seeing them move, it's such beautiful animals, the ability to bend and stretch, and then when they yawn, we've had a few big yawns before he joined us, the sort of business end of the lion. It's always nice to see that as well. Big canine teeth for gripping the prey, but we'll talk about all of that as we see it. But these guys are certainly busy. Like it, man. Just saying hello there to one of the other game drivers who's just joined us. The guy's name is Peter as well, Afrikaans guy. Beautiful lioness, this. She's given us a couple of looks already. She's got nice, almost orangey eyes. Oh, and she might stretch up against that tree. Sometimes I do that sort of to clean the nails a little bit. it would be awesome to see that if she puts her paws right up against the tree and stretches and scratches, and just really gives you an idea of how big these animals are as well. We tend to forget sometimes sort of size of them. These lionesses will be 160 kilograms, probably 320, 350, 360 pounds even. Very windy now. I don't think we have to worry too much about rain. Well, you can never say that, but wind really picking up. Go past the vehicle there quickly. Look at that view. Beautiful open area, lovely and green. Still a bit lazy, you can still see a bit of a yawn, a bit of play, a bit of bonding. Ah, they're just awesome. I was saying just now they are definitely lean. Probably haven't eaten for 2-3 days. Not very old lionesses, you can still see those marks on the legs quite clearly, and also just the way they move, they're a little bit playful. Look at that. Oh, must feel good, a bit of a scratch in the sand. I'm getting excited now actually, because I'm sort of trying to think what they could do, what they're going to do next. I mean, obviously hunting is one of the things, but just in this mood, the next 5, 10, 15 minutes even, there can be lots of this just rolling around and a bit of playing and a bit of bonding with each other. And I'm hoping just up ahead here, there's a beautiful marula tree that the elephants have pushed over a few years back. And I was looking at it earlier thinking, oh, it'd be so great if they jump in that. So all these possibilities, but just beautiful to see them active, and they went into it quickly. Not too much build-up. Normally you have all this yawning and stretching, and it can take a long time. But I think because it's cooler now, because of this cloud cover that's moved in, she's got a scar on her shoulder there. If you look right there, it looks like an old cut or an old bruise. Look at this, the bit of bonding. She'll rub her face. Whoa, Ina. She stepped in a thorn. Shame. Sorry, you didn't see that, but she was walking along all sleek and beautiful to go and play with her sister, and then she stepped in a thorn. Look at that. She probably rubbed her face against it. Oh, she's going to ignore the other one. That's interesting. I thought she's going to bond. What's she doing? Ah, just look at that face. She's absolutely gorgeous. There's giraffe. Look at that. Giraffe in front of us. Guys, look here. Right ahead of us. Just down the road. They haven't even seen it yet. The lions haven't seen this. The giraffe have seen the lions now, I think. What's going on here? There, the one lioness has seen it. One lioness has seen the giraffe now. This would be a tall order for lions to try and take. Maybe if there were more of them. But the one giraffe there is not too old. It looks like about a 2-year-old. So maybe not impossible. Yeah, sorry, VM, it's going to be difficult to decide where to look. Look at the posture, flat down. In the open though, so very difficult to hide here, but keep in mind, your first rule of camouflage is to not move. That one giraffe is looking like it's seen something, but they're not sure yet because these lions are keeping nice and still. This lioness that we're looking at is definitely wary of the giraffe. The lioness on the left hand side on the road, I don't think has seen them yet. There, she's seen them as well. Great, she's just seen them. She's hiding now. Oh, this could be very interesting. Very, very interesting. They're trying to make themselves as flat as possible. They didn't know the giraffe were coming. The giraffe came running out of the bush for some reason, almost like they were playing. And these lions didn't plan for this. So obviously they can't now move to thicker cover. They've got to do the sort of make the most of what they have. But not moving is really important in this case. And when there's an opportunity, they'll try and stalk. But there's almost no cover here at the moment. And yeah, lots to talk about. Just to give you an idea that you were looking down, this is one of the main roads. So those poles that you could see is actually the power supply for the lodges. And the giraffe, I haven't seen these lions. I thought the one had, but they're feeding now. They've got their heads in the bushes. This lioness is getting curious because they have to wait for the perfect opportunity when they could move. And the wind is not perfect, but it's also not terrible. The wind is blowing slightly more from the lions towards the giraffe, but at an angle. So they shouldn't smell the lions until they're closer. The main possibility of discovery here is eyesight. Giraffes are tall animals. We're looking at 3 meters. All of those giraffes, they're not massive at giraffe, but they adult females and young males. If I had to wager, I would say that this is not a great opportunity for them. Too big. These are very big giraffe. It's also very open. I don't think they'll get close enough. But at the same time, and this I can again say from experience, is you never know what's going to happen. There might be so many things, so many variables. And what looks like an impossible hunt can suddenly become a great hunt, or what looks like a great hunt can suddenly become nothing. So you never know. But these lionesses are certainly very aware, very intent on these giraffe. This could be quite an afternoon. Let's see now, the giraffe is going in to feed. All the giraffe now got their heads in the bush. Now it's difficult for these lions because the giraffe obviously live in a place where there's lots of predators, and they will often see predators and they have to be very aware of it. So these lions can't take a chance, but they will have to at some stage. They'll have to get a bit of cover. Don't know which one is going to move first, but they'll have to make a plan when there's opportunity. I'm going to quickly talk to someone that's calling on the radio. Susie again. Yeah, that's amazing. She's going to get up and walk right in the open. That's incredible, though. Down again. Okay, she's got a bit more cover. You see just that little bit of greenery in front of her, just enough to maybe just hide her that little bit better. Giraffe, I haven't seen them yet. On 2 occasions already I thought they had seen them, but obviously not. Susie, Peter, these two Ngala are now bugaing some Dlamiti if you're in the area. Sorry, say again? Right at the junction, Gari main Cheetah cut line, right here at the sort of main T junction. Yeah, just 2 more ways you can pull in if no one has called yet. Sure. This one is just staying put. This would be amazing if this happens. I've seen lion hunt giraffe a few times, and I've seen one very spectacular successful hunt, and it was a big group of lions. Well, big, I think there were 5 females and 2 or 3 sub-adults and 1 male or something. There were about 8 or so lions. I can't remember exactly. It was in Pilansberg. But you must realize that those giraffe are massive compared to the lion. But just to point out again, there's the lion, there's the giraffe. The wind is blowing roughly, if you see this little sandy drainage line here, or this little, it actually comes from the road, the wind is blowing in roughly that direction. So it's swirling a little bit. It should play a role. The giraffe might smell them, but at the moment the giraffe are literally feeding into the wind, and you know, it's not impossible that with the swirling or the wind being a little bit gusty, they miss the smell. So the key element really is sight. And if we look at the giraffe now, they're coming into the thicket. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. If we look at these ones on this side, they're moving in the right direction. And I think that one has seen something. Oh, it's going. Can't believe that something will happen, but this is amazing. Can't believe this. Running straight up to them. This other lioness is just looking on, thinking, what are you doing? Look at her. She's like, what were you thinking? That's great though. Friday afternoon, nothing else to do. Let's chase a few giraffe around because we can. And you know what? You never know what could happen. There's still, one of them trips or something happens and suddenly it turns into a real hunt. But that was almost, I think, excitement and frustration maybe, looking at all this, knowing it's too big for them. That laughter you can hear in the background, that's the other guide from Nkoro, called Peter as well. He also thought it's quite funny. But interesting to see. There she goes. Oh, I love this. There's still a giraffe there. Look at that. There's another giraffe. So I'm gonna go there. Let's go closer. I didn't see that giraffe there. This lioness is just chilling. She's not doing too much. Let's go have a look. Now guys, the chance of that lioness catching a giraffe on her own is almost zero. And so thanks, Will. But you can try, you can play. Why not? Why not? I think those other two giraffe have also run off now, so that's that for the moment. Oh, she's so ready to hunt. When they look like this, I would say she hasn't eaten probably in 2 days, maybe 3 days. Guys, welcome back. For those of you that missed the last few minutes, a lot has happened. This lioness is now just walking back to her sister again. But while we were sitting with him, some giraffe arrived, and I'm sure you saw the beginning of it. But she went after them. Just turn here again. Let's get back on that side. They were all adult giraffe. There were no baby giraffe. So the chance for an actual successful kill with 2 lionesses was very, very little. Oh, she's going to climb that tree that I was talking about earlier. Wait, hold on. No, she's not. Or is she? Yes, she is. Wait, look at this. This is so awesome. Look at that. And the moon in the back as well. Beautiful. Nice stretch. Ah, this is amazing. Absolutely stunning. So they were chasing the giraffe. More for play, I think, really, than anything else. But beautiful to see. Sorry if you've missed some of it, but you're getting the beautiful view here now. Look at this. Let's see if these two are going to play. Maybe they're going to hunt each other. They're both youngish lionesses still. So there might be a bit of playing around here, and that's always fun to see as well. Well, that's brilliant, and I really like this, guys, and this is what I love about the dynamics of this. I'm so glad this can be done. You're going to have a quick look at what just happened because you just missed something really fun. Have a look at it, and if you can be ready to come back here as soon as possible because the giraffe haven't left yet. So enjoy that, and we'll get you back here very shortly. Guys, now, for those of you not watching this on TV, obviously still enjoying this, there's the giraffe still. But sadly, these lions are going into an area that we can't follow. Well, it looks like it. They might still change their mind because who knows what happens. But we can't go south of this road. Oh no, she's walking straight to the giraffe again. Guys, there might be more happening. Get everyone back on the vehicle. We can watch later what we missed. Look at that, we can have a chase again. Awesome. Oh, this would be yeah, I'm really enjoying this whole everything that's going on at the moment. She's going right down the road. You can see the giraffe just watching her. There they go again. There they go again. She's going through the bush, not chasing them. I mean, they've all seen each other now, but you know, she's walking down the road straight to the giraffe because you know why? She can. Let's follow the one down the road, see what she gets up to. Alright, brilliant, because I almost thought we can have another chase. This lioness went straight down the road. The giraffe down here as well, they ran off. She wasn't really going to chase them, but it was quite nice just to see her walking down the road, sort of just, you know, because she can. Just messing with the giraffe. But just look at how beautiful she is. Look at her eyes. If she looks our way, that she's got these beautiful orange amber eyes. They will be hunting. And the wind has turned slightly now, slightly more southeast, which means they might be heading southeast. Oh, I'm loving this. All right. Well, guys, as I said, we can't follow these lions further in here, but we can go all the way to where we are on the edge of the neighboring area. Beautiful setting here, and we might get a bit more play, or who knows what's next. Oh, that was so cool. There we go, there's a bit of the greeting. Got quite a few scars, I know that one. On the neck there as well. Actually, that makes me think, the one walking away now, not the one walking towards us, the one that walked away, that's the one that we must have seen mating with that Matimba male about, oh, it's beautiful, look at that. Oh. Always said this, I think lionesses are so much better looking than males. I mean, male lions, make no mistake, they are very, you know, massive presences about them. There's something just, you know, king of the jungle. You don't get called the king of the jungle for no reason. But the females just have these beautiful faces. And that's now the typical hunting formation. You can see the other female just disappearing around the corner there. There she goes. On a road, it's good for them. The road's going in the direction they want to go. Into the wind a little bit, nice and quiet, walking on the sand, no grass and twigs and things, and just casually walking along, a little bit spread out. But when the opportunity comes, they will be on the hunt. Unfortunately though for us, that's the end of the road with them tonight. They're going into an area south of here, and just maybe this is confusing you. I'll explain it again just now because we're just waiting for everyone to come back from ad break.
I still see them.
What is that though? Is it them or is it something else? Oh, they're drinking there. You can just see the backsides through the twigs. There's obviously a pool of water next to the road. Try to get a last look there. Maybe we can just get a gap through down that track just for a last little window, but yeah, there's a little gap. The one is still drinking. We got a little bit forward. Hold on. Right, well that's the last little window we have with these girls. The one has moved down the road already. They stopped there to have a little drink on a puddle next to the road. And this is the second of the two lionesses. And they're in hunting formation. They're a little bit spread out, casually walking along the road. And that was our lion adventure. That was awesome. I'll explain to you just now why we can't follow them, because I know for many of you, you know, obviously it's all open. We're part of a big ecosystem here. But Sabi Sands Game Reserve, you know, there's a lot of things I can tell you about this place. You know, some of the best leopard viewing in the world, if not maybe the best. Fantastic habitat for what we're doing. But it's important to realize that it's private land. In other words, we are driving on land owned by different people. And obviously, because of that, one of the big benefits is that we can do this, that we can go off-road, follow things around. You couldn't do this in for instance, Kruger National Park. So that's a massive benefit, but at the same time, oh, nice tracks where she walked earlier. At the same time, that means that we have to respect boundaries. Some places you can drive, some places not. So they've just moved into a neighboring area, and it's not somewhere that we can follow. So they're going to continue on. We're going to look at these giraffe. So, I'm not exactly sure, but it looks like full moon tomorrow night maybe. But we're going to look at that. There's the moon. Let me try and get those giraffes. Oh, this could be good. The moon is just up there in the clouds. I was hoping we're going to get the moon next to the giraffe. It's not often you get that chance. But we're going to try. It's not often you can get a lion running at a giraffe, so you never know. Sorry guys, that was really funny for me because this giraffe's still looking back every now and you can see stopping and looking, you know, just thinking, just in case those crazy lions come back. Now make no mistake, lions can hunt and do hunt giraffe. In this area, not so often. In fact, I've seen very, very few lion kills or giraffe kills from lion here at Juma, because the lions here specialize quite often in buffalo. You know, the benefit you get from a buffalo hunt is almost that of a giraffe in terms of quantity of food or volume. But a giraffe is not an easy thing to hunt. Those big legs, the front legs, they can sort of stab down with them, you know, kick down with them. The back legs can kick as well. That female will weigh well over a ton, probably 1,200 kilograms. That's 2,500 pounds. And one solid kick from those front legs, they sort of stand and kick down like this. On this, oh, there we go. I'm going to try and get this actually. No, don't walk. Please stand still, female. Guys, there. Beautiful female. That's actually in great shape. All three of these giraffe in really good condition. In places like Pilanesberg where I worked, there you get some prides that hunt giraffe often. In fact, in Pilanesberg we saw lions on giraffe, every few months. But it is not an easy hunt. It's a bit of a specialized hunt. The same as you find with lion that hunt buffalo. They sort of learn it from the parents when they're growing up. You find the same with giraffe. It's not the easiest of animals to hunt. And those two lionesses never really had a chance, but didn't stop them from trying. Time now. We've got half an hour left. That's lovely, eh? Just all walking along. I'm thinking I want to get us back into that area where we were looking around for Karula earlier. It's again that time of night when leopards start to walk. I think HD is still in that area somewhere as well, looking around. It might just be that we've got enough time to quickly go and check Buffelshoek Dam and then make our way back around to Sandy Patch, Quarantine, that area. I think there could even be two leopard in that area. Kunyuma, that male leopard that I've been looking for 2 nights, I'm convinced is still around there. And of course Karula down towards Sandy Patch. So I think we're going to leave these giraffe be. Cheers, ladies. Let me quickly show you why I say it's females. We haven't actually looked at them that much. If you look very closely at their heads, I mean the belly as well, they've got those nice smooth bellies. But if you look at the head of this female, the horns are a little bit lighter, not quite as heavy. The bull giraffe have got very thick, much heavier horns. And then you see the horns right to the tip. They've got a little brush of hair. Look very carefully, right to the top. It's covered in hair. Little scratch. With bull giraffe, those horns are bald on top. They've got no hair right on top. And also the bulls are bigger. They're built slightly more chunky, slightly more like heavier set. All right. So the giraffe had a bit of a fun afternoon. In a way, you could say that maybe that was fun for both of them. The giraffe never actually looked worried. They never looked like, we're going to get killed by these lions. They were more like, what's going on, and running away a little bit and coming back and looking again. And it's just a little bit like there's nothing else to do for the lions, so they might as well run at the giraffe. And I quite enjoyed that actually. All right. I'm going to cover some ground. You might go back to HT a bit as well because he is looking around. And we're going to check Buffelshoek Dam quickly. You never know. Maybe Mvula's around. Maybe something. And then we're going to try and get back towards where HT is at the moment just to see if we can't, the more eyes the better. See if we can't find the leopard before the end of drive. Because it is Friday. It is Big Cat Week. And before you go to HT, I must remind you, we'll talk about it again. But you mustn't forget tonight, later on, there's man versus lion. And I'll tell you more about that when you get back in the vehicle with me. See you now.
So folks, since you've seen us last, we've been doing exactly this, just absolutely maximizing our time, driving around, trying to cover this area to see if we can see leopard. Brian and I have been driving basically all afternoon, trying to pick up tracks. We just saw some tracks of lion on the other side, but they went over into another reserve as well. But it's all about maximizing your time on the ground, doing as much as you possibly can, covering as much ground as you can, and just using a little bit of intuition to hope that you can see a leopard before close.
Let's want to do this trip again. Let's go back again. I might see something.
Brian just asked me to go around and do that strip again, which is always something that I will do for anyone that says that. Bit bumpy here, folks. He said he might have seen something.
Okay, a bit further there.
Brian's just standing up high on the back of the vehicle right now. You have to go and check these things out, folks. You really do have to go back. It really is about any little hint of colour, or you might think there's a tail flick or something like that. You've got to turn around and go and have a look for, because it'll be that tiny little trigger in your mind that says that's leopard. So we just had to turn around, basically. That's what we did. We turned around because Brian thought that he saw something, and it really is about just taking every single chance, potential sighting, very, very seriously. Of course, you get Trias stumpus, which is a common species that has been growing for many, many a year. And Trias stumpus, commonly known as the tree stump, can take on all forms, all manners of species that you're looking for at the time. But we've all done that before. But again, worth stopping for. All we want to do is just try and cover this area as much as we possibly can. And it's hard. You don't always have success. You don't always find tracks. You don't always get a sighting. But at the same time, the anticipation of what is potentially there keeps you going every single time. So we've seen Karula up this area. We've seen Kanya. Yeah, we have seen both of those, Kanyama and Karula, in this area. And we think Karula could be potentially around from some of the tracks that we've seen. One of the things I love about leopard as well, completely unpredictable in that sense that you just don't know. They're like, they're there 1 minute and the next minute they're gone. It's a beautiful quality, that mystical quality about leopard. It really is just, folks, about using your eyes now the best you possibly can. And you do have to go this speed. You have to go very, very slow and look at every little nook and cranny in the vegetation. because you just don't know. It might be around that next corner, and we always put out as much energy we can to try and find leopard, but we just live on the anticipation. We're losing light. We've got about 16 minutes to go. And who knows? It's not over till it's over. We just got an email from Elizabeth. Thanks, Elizabeth, and welcome aboard. Great to have you with us, and a great question at that. And please don't think I'm being rude, Elizabeth, by not looking to camera all the time. I'm going to keep looking as I'm talking to you, and I'm sure you understand. Elizabeth knows that we're looking for Karula, and she wants to know whether, if Karula does have cubs, whether she would use a new den site or an old den site. Well, Elizabeth, it depends on a lot of things. If the area was stable and she didn't have any pressure from either A, leopard, or B, lion, which is a really important factor in this equation. There's been a lot of lion activity on this area. She may use a suitable site that she's used before that she feels comfortable with. But there's been a lot of lion activity, and we suspect, particularly Graham, who talked to us a bit about it last night, he believes that those lion have given her pressure to go elsewhere, and have her den somewhere on another safer area. And by doing so, she's probably put her den off Juma potentially, but the other alternative is that she's put it there. Sorry, not alternative. The other scenario is that she's put a den off Juma or adjacent to Juma somewhere where there's no lion activity, and then she's coming back to Juma, the area, her old hunting areas where she knows that she can hunt. So it just depends, and we're still not sure. We're still not sure, Elizabeth, and everyone. All we can do is just cover the ground. And that's what we're doing now. But great question, Elizabeth, and thank you so much for being with us and having such a great interest in this. I know it might seem that we're just driving around, folks, but for me, this is what Safari Live's about. You don't know what's going to happen next. There's no script. We don't know what's going to happen next. Just going to pop some lights on here. It just gives us a little wash over the area and makes it a little bit easier for us to see. I'm just going to get my spotlight out for the last few minutes. And sometimes, folks, you feel like you're going around and around in circles. But you know what? The first day that I was on Juma with VM, we went around in a circle once, and the second time we did that circuit, we found the quarantine male, and he was sitting there right front and center of us, and it was just magnificent. So there you go. Just don't know. It's quite a breeze picking up. I think we might get some rain. I think we're going to get through the drive without having to run for cover. But I think the boys might, we all might get a little bit wet on the way home. Leopard love this time of night as well, where the light has just stopped the contrast, or blended the contrast I should say. You can't really distinguish shapes very well, and having that incredibly adapted eyesight, which all cats have, being able to adjust their iris and use all the available light, whereas the prey species don't have the ability to do that. Wow, we've done some kilometers today. We've really done some miles around the reserves looking for leopard, and that's sometimes how it works out. But you know what? I'll get up again. We'll all get up again, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Because when you win the prize at the end of seeing one of these magnificent creatures, every other leopard drive that you've done without success just pales into insignificance. It just doesn't even matter. And we don't really mind at all. This is all about finding beautiful wildlife for you, for me, for everyone. So the point I just made really about driving around, and it feels like it might be around and around in circles, is really important to take into account that those circles do pay off sometimes. And I really mean that when I say I never get tired of this. I just get up and we'll do it again and again and again until we find that incredible cat. I think that's what I love about Safari Live too, folks. What I love about Safari Live is you're seeing it real. This is how it happens. We don't always see things. We don't always have things happening right in front of our very eyes. We've been really, really lucky. But let's cross to Pete and say, let him say farewell. And I think we're just going to close with us having a look around here. But we'll see you just now. And Pete's going to say farewell.
Guys, welcome back this side. This is just a quick goodbye from us. It's been a fantastic afternoon, and thank you so much for enjoying and sharing with us all the magic that is African wildlife. Just before we say goodbye, please don't forget, I mentioned earlier just before the break, great show tonight, man versus lion. Boone Smith in a plexiglass cube looking at lions and lions looking at him. I'm sure it's very fascinating. In fact, I would love it if a couple of you could grab some screenshots and whack it on my Facebook page. I'd love to see that. So don't miss that, 9 o'clock Eastern time. And from myself, Peter Pretorius, and from VM Behind the Camera, it's been fantastic. And yeah, great seeing the lions chase great seeing the lions chase the giraffe, not the rhino. We saw one a bit further back. So we'll tell about that over the weekend. I'm going to say goodbye. Have a fantastic evening. See you tomorrow.
We're just going to carry on, folks, until the end here, and just hope. Of course, the time is against us a little bit at the moment, but I'm sure you understand. I know that you all watching understand that this is how it works. And it's not just us out here looking. It's loads of people do this for so much. Sorry, Brian, I just took a little left-hander there because I thought I saw some eyes, but it wasn't. So many people do this for so many hours and months and years. Researchers that give us all this incredible information about leopards out there doing the hard yards, doing their PhDs and their doctorates on leopards and big cats and conservation. They're heroes to us. They're the ones that feed us amazing information. And this is how it works, folks. This is exactly how it works. You just don't know. Just looking at the time, control room will give me a countdown of when I've got a few minutes left, and I'll just stop and do a little roundup and say farewell. But you've seen some incredible things tonight. You've seen beautiful lion and hippo, and the lion, I'm sure, were spectacular across there. But we can't always guarantee, and that's what we can never guarantee, actually, and that's what's beautiful. That's what the bush is all about. The bush is about unpredictability. It's about rawness and reality. And when it comes down like this, it just spurs you on to wake up the next day and do it all over again. I'm going to park up here in a beautiful spot so you can see this moon. So once we finish signing off, I'm going to let Brian pan off to that shot. But for the minute, I'm just going to have a little chat with you. We've got 2 minutes. And I want to leave you with this, folks. What you're watching now on Safari Live, I believe, is at the coalface of change in television, particularly wildlife television. You're going to see things now that we can do in the wild, and you're going to experience things now in your place, wherever you are, on whatever medium you're watching now, right here with us. That is spectacular. That is the most magical thing that I've gotten out of this over the last month. I've got 2 more nights to go, and I'm already dreading it. Of course, I want to see my wife and son, but at the same time, this has been one of the most incredible things I've ever done. And what we're watching right now is a change. It's a sea change in wildlife television. I feel it. It's exciting. It's wonderful. It's raw. It's got bumps. It's got hiccups. We stumble over words. Pete passes me a flower. I don't know where that came from, but anyway, all I want to say to you guys is thank you for watching, thank you for being with us, thank you for supporting us. Nat Geo Wild, Big Cat Week, we're going to be back out doing this again tomorrow. All we can do is try our best, and you guys are why we're here. And I want to say to you, thank you so much from Brian, myself, Pete, VM, all the rest of the team, everyone here at WildSafari Live. Thanks very much. Have a look at this. Good night from Africa. Oh,
Good
gosh,
final.
you got that in focus beautifully, man. That was beautiful. Thanks, Mac.
Cool.
Do you think my manlyhood's safe? Okay, I'm not even looking at social media tonight.
That's